Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Awkward Question Time. Please welcome your host, Kitty Messalina.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Awkward Question Time with me, your host, Alex Leam, with a dye job and some tanning. This is the show where we're going to take a panel of comedians through a series of awkward and stupid questions. Please submit your questions for the panel. The more cringy they are, the better. Answer along with us. It's always better to have your comments coming up. Give us a share, retweet, subscribe on YouTube, ring the bell, and like our page on Facebook, because there is now, I say our page, it's his page, there is now a specific Awkward Question Time Facebook page, so go and give that a like and a follow. Are you watching us on a proper TV? If you are, DM Alex a pic. Not me, I don't care, I don't need to see myself or my face, but if you are, Alex bloody loves it. So here is TV pose. TV pose. Okay, if you didn't pause it in time, that's your fault. And donate. He's not feeling very great right now, hence he's not here and I am. So there is a QR code, or you can just go to paypal.me/Alex Leam, or give him a coffee. And I think it would be great if everyone would actually pitch in if you watch this regularly, because that might help cheer him up. Also, he is backstage and watching me try and do this. So drop a text to the show's Nokia 3310, vintage, I know. There is the number on the screen. Those questions will come up with all of Alex's little subtitles. So, without any further ado, shall we bring on the rest of the panel? This evening we have Kevin O'Connell, Maxine Wade, Alan Lear, and Vix Layton. Welcome, everybody. How are we doing? Happy Easter Sunday.
Happy Easter.
We are interrupting Ian Bowden's line of duty binge.
Yes. I didn't realise that when I booked this, but I'm sure I would still have been here, even if the choice was made.
Well, you're here with us tonight. Everyone stop watching Line of Duty, put it on record, come here. This is live. We love your comments. First time here. Good to see you, Kat. How are we doing? So here we go. Erica's in the audience tonight. Alan's wife is here. Do we have
She's
more
very
comments,
upset about Line of Duty herself.
Alex is getting more attractive each week. Thank you. Yes, it's a lot of surgery required to turn Alex Leam into an entirely different person. Do we have more comments, or are we on to our first question? See, I have none of the controls. He's still the puppet master in the background. KD Comedy is in the audience. I believe at some point there is an Awkward Question Time KD face-off of some sort, which is very exciting. I might be on that. This is fun. Hosting questions. Yes. Okay. Let's have an Easter pun amnesty. Get them all out of your system now. You will get an instant red card if you use one past the second question. There we go. So punners, let's have your excellent puns.
Yes, my wife is so angry at missing Line of Duty that it's turning her into a bunny boiler.
Alex,
sorry, I don't mean to rabbit on.
I don't
the
find
sound of that rim shot is really annoying me. It's a real bee in my bonnet.
Puntastic.
I don't find Easter jokes very funny.
Was that bunny? That's beautiful. Any more?
I can't.
No, I think we're just going to make the audience cross.
Oh, my basket's empty, yeah.
I don't know if we've got more coming in on the comments that might make it up. Ian says, I hate Easter as it reminds me Jesus got nailed more than I have. Yeah, he came twice more.
And if Jesus is resurrected near you, don't forget, kids, removing the head or destroying the brain.
Now, he's not a zombie, he's a lich. There's a very important difference. He had all of his faculties about him. We have to work out where his phylactery is and destroy it. Probably an Easter egg. That's the connection. Any more Easter puns? Oh, we're on to a question. Okay. Everybody who talks about time travel suggests righting a wrong, like shooting baby Hitler. If you could go back in time, what event/creation, generally perceived as positive or good, would you stop? What
the invention
thing
of
that
time.
people like? Sorry?
The invention of time. I'd get rid of that altogether.
Nice. Yeah.
Concept of time. Yeah, because then you wouldn't have to go about doing things, you know. You'd never be late again. It would.
And you'd never have to go back in time.
Exactly. It's a paradox, I think, is it? I have no idea. I could be wrong. But that's exactly
Almost certainly. I'd love to hear your methodology for how you can go back in time and stop time.
I'd say the person that invented time was a complete fucking nerd. So I'd say like you could probably beat them up pretty easily. And
Seems legit.
Yeah, that's the best I can think of at the moment. Like just on a whim, I think beat the nerd that invented time.
If in doubt, go back in time. Wherever you land, just beat up the first nerd you see. That'll probably do it, right?
Yeah. I assume they were slightly different back then, yeah. But yeah. I think 1500 BC is when they invented the watch, which is a really weird fact that I know. So yeah, we go to 1500 BC. That's what we'd aim for.
There we go. Not just questions. This is now getting into awkward, quite interesting. Any more events?
Yeah, I think basically what I'd do is I'd take a broom handle about 3,000 years to about 3,000 years BC, and I'd poke Moses back up that fucking mountain with the Ten Commandments, because all of our bloody problems have stemmed from him coming down there. The wars between the Jews, the Christians, and the Muslims, they're all from that one bloody moment where he brings the Ten Commandments down. And I say we restart the chronology and we give the golden calf a shot, because as far as I can tell from the Bible, it wasn't doing anything wrong.
Interesting. Would you come up with any new rules instead of the Big Ten? What would your rules instead be?
I think the first rule would be thou shalt shut the fuck up. And that would solve all the problems created by any of the later rules. Well, I have to say, I'm going to steal a page out of Mark Thomas here, because he did a thing called the Manifesto, where people proposed legal changes for the British legal system. And one of the suggestions was amazing. It was basically, we get rid of all the rules about everything and we replace them with two basic rules. It is a crime to be either A, out of order, or B, bang out of order.
Brilliant. Okay, it's a society formed around don't be out of order or bang out of order. Mm-hmm. Any more commandments or events to change from the panel?
I won't go that far back in time, but I'd go to the first ever gender reveal party and kill absolutely everybody there, because I cannot stand gender reveal parties and I don't want to be invited to another one. It's basically just lighting some balloons or setting off anything just to celebrate what genitals your child has, and I ain't got time for that.
It is very odd that people kind of have a party, come around and let us tell you the specific shape of the genitals of this unborn child.
Exactly.
As a tradition, describing it to anyone who's not from a culture who's experienced that, it's just, I'm sorry, what? You probe the inside to find the shape of the genitals and then have a party.
But there's cake.
Cake is good.
I think we could have solved that if Heisenberg had become a gynecologist instead of a physicist. Because if Heisenberg had come up with a measuring system for scanning babies, you could only tell you either where it was or what it was, but not both. So you can know if it's a boy or a girl, but it might disappear from your womb and reappear up a tree or in your chimney.
Or how fast
it's going. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There'd be no gender reveals then.
This is the highbrow intellectual physicist edition of Awkward Question Time. Any more commandments or events to change? I can see some are coming in the comments as well. Erica Lear, I'd go back to September the 12th, 2012 and say, I don't. Sorry, Alan, only joking.
I mean, the brilliant thing about that joke is that we were married on September the 14th. So Christ knows what she was doing on the 12th.
So Erica's forgotten the anniversary there and is now potentially in the doghouse.
Saying yes to somebody else, Alan.
BC before Casio. I think that was a watches and calculators thing from before. Gender reveal party should only exist for people who find out they're trans. Yes, that's the moment we go, I would now like to reveal you were all wrong. Yes, and also people only ever reveal the same kind of boring set, If you're having a gender reveal party for a baby, it's always like, oh boy, they never release a new one, It's not never like, and now this new exciting release. Yes, Erica has admitted that she's forgotten your anniversary.
How
many years in?
From Erica there, impressive cell phone.
How many years in are you, Alan?
It's going to be our 10th anniversary this year, so.
Well, she might get there 2 days early. Hi, John. Thank you. Yeah, luck. Might need it. Yes. Lisa says she put a condom on Stanley Johnson. Yes, this feels like a thing. I mean, clearly the Sun doesn't know how to do that either. So, as in Boris, not the newspaper or the celestial body. So, if only Erica had a time machine. Hey. Well done, Cosmic.
Or time hadn't been invented, because I like that as well.
Yeah.
That is the other
invented,
option.
the dates don't even matter. Yeah.
Yeah, people can't watch Line of Duty. They don't know when it's on. Time does not exist. Everything is random now.
Stephen John, as he is on Facebook, if I ever have to bake a cake for a gender reveal party, I'm baking a full octopus in it. Someone would be happy about that, though, you know? Someone would be like, oh, how exciting.
The octopus wouldn't.
No, I don't think they'd like that at all.
They are so clever. They're like deviously clever.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, one day they will take over the world. Lisa, Jesus is rubbish at crosswords, but he nailed 2 across. Nailed 2 across.
Red card, 1 question ban.
We're still on question 1, technically, though, aren't we?
I think we've moved on. I'm not entirely sure.
Time has no meaning here.
It's fluid. We deleted time. We deleted time. It's all fine.
Everything's breaking down. It was a terrible idea.
I mean, this is what happens when you get a guest host in.
We should just say, we're just going to say random sentences from now on. Don't worry, if it's not funny, it's just a punchline to a question that's not been asked yet.
Yeah, it's not linear. It's just kind of, you can then cut it together later at a future date and see the Illuminati pyramid. It'll be fine.
Well, leave it to the audience and nailing them.
Apparently, Lisa, that's my joke. Oh.
Grr.
Is that original humor being stolen as well? Is that proper comedy theft appearing live in the comments of Awkward Question Time?
No, we've just, because there's no linear time, so what's happened there is that Stephen has stolen Lisa's joke in the past.
Natürlich. If you do want a more linear and perhaps better put together episode of Awkward Question Time, donate to the QR code, and that might make Alex happy. Do we have another question? Are we still? Oh, Ian Bowden, is Kevin aware he's the spit of Elliot Steele?
I know Elliot. I don't think we look that similar, but I'll take it. Maybe do I look? Is that Elliot is quite pale? Is he? Or because I put a ring light and I'm still trying to get it working, so that could be it. Do I look
my
less
ring
like
light
Elliot
makes me
now?
look very pale, and I'm aware I haven't left my house in a year, and I'm aware I'm probably the lightest I've ever been, which means every time I do kind of racial commentary, I feel like people do a bit of a double take to be like, she's looking a bit pale to say that. It's like, yes, no, I am like 50% able to tell that joke. Stephen John, I don't think Lisa realizes I'm Frizz Frizzle. Big reveal.
Reveal party.
Of all the days to moan about looking pale, try being dead in a cave for 3 days and see what you look like then.
Dead in a cave? Is this an anecdote? This feels very specific.
It's the Easter story.
Oh, of course. Yes, zombie Jesus. I forgot where we were. Next question.
That's today, yeah.
What really happened during Jesus's lost weekend? See, I really like the theological understanding that he like went to hell for 3 days and like beat the devil up. Like that is an actual theological belief that some people have of like, that's how he defeated sin. He went down to hell and was like, I'll take the sin, but now I've killed hell. But then it raises the question of, well, then what's the point of anything? Anyway, you guys, panel, Jesus's lost weekend. What did he do?
Back-to-back
Jesus Christ. Yes, yeah.
Revealed
on my next body.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, Judas Iscariot, fear and loathing in Nazareth. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Maybe it was just haunting people. Just low-level pranking them. tapping them on the shoulder, disappearing. Like,
I mean, when he came back, he did legit kind of go like, "Hey, feel the holes in my hands. Hey,
Yeah.
feel the wound in my side. Hey, you guys thought I was dead, and I was, but like, hey, see that happened? Like that's a like thing."
Probably just spent 3 days getting hammered because it was a bank holiday.
Was that an Easter pun? Was that a hammered?
I don't.
You've not been
I
given a red card, but if I had the controls here,
I don't think it was very.
Yellow card. You have been warned.
You can't let you get away with hammering. Not on crucifix weekends. That's definitely a pun. It's a dark pun, but it qualifies.
Tony Slattery is watching right now. Say hi to Tony. Hi, Tony.
Hi, Tony.
Hello, Tony.
Cool. That's
Now, there's a man who's
say hi
doing
to
much
Tony
better
second.
than Jesus.
Sorry?
Does anyone
There's a
have
man
any
who's doing
questions that
much
aren't
better than
blasphemous?
Jesus. We're still waiting for him to be raised from the dead.
Ah, of course. Last we heard, Tony was alive and watching this. Whether or not that's a return, he might have been resurrected to watch this.
Alive like Prince Philip alive?
Good question. Has anyone
Nearly
seen the eyeshadow palette they made out of like the different tones around Prince Philip's eyes? Like you get a really deep purple. Yes, what was the question? Taught carpentry to the ancestor of Joseph Fritzl. Lovely. Thanks, Ian. He comes back and is told that people now mark the anniversary of his death, and there's an awkward conversation about why it's called Good Friday. Poltergeist. Thank you. That is my father downstairs has come out with the comments. He's never once commented on anything on YouTube, I don't think, and has come out with
yellow card. No puns. That's question one.
Yellow card. You have been warned.
I triggered a yellow card. We can all do it now. This is chaos. What is it?
What else did Jesus do for 3 days? Disappeared. From Tony, Jesus went to, I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm afraid
Llandudno, yeah.
Wonderful. For cheap sex. If you're the Messiah, do you need to pay to make it? Because if it's cheap, that still necessitates a payment rather than free, which is usually the default. So it's kind of he's the Messiah.
To be fair, at that stage, it was very difficult. It was very time-consuming to have sex with Jesus because he had 4 extra holes you had to deal with.
Oh.
Yeah,
Alex, the card.
I do love the general meme of, if Jesus were to jerk off, would he do it like that or like that? There are many a cartoon out there you can find. Alex says he's going to allow that, so there we go.
It's not a pun.
Why
It's not a pun. It's just
why specifically Llandudno? Just out of interest, is it known as a mecca for cheap sex? What am I missing about?
Ian's come in with the Life of Brian quotes. He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy. Why not both? Especially for those 3 days where there's no repercussions because no one knows what he did. Can you imagine if he spent those 3 days?
Is it possible that the Last Supper was such a good piss up that he was just having one of Alex's 3-day hangovers?
His blood is made of wine, to be fair. He was definitely very hungover.
And that was his first miracle as well. It was like, all right, lads, we're at a wedding. We want some more wine. Let's do this.
Priorities,
can you imagine, like, 3 days? He spent like 33 years being perfect and having to be like brilliant. He must have had so much pent up frustration of like, all right, I've got 3 days. No one knows where I am. They all think I'm dead, and I am. So I can go and make some mischief. Can you imagine just screwing with people, like walking on water, like, hey, just to like mess with people and like gaslight them?
Do you think maybe this was just the period when Jesus, he'd already done the trick at the Canaanite's wedding of turning water into wine? Do you think what happened is that Jesus just read somewhere that the human body is 75% water and went, ooh.
And then, this is my blood. Ian says, is that why they do the body of Christ thing in church? Because he was away for so long. The puns...
Red card. 1 question ban.
The puns are still coming in.
Make it stop.
Any more Easter theories as to Jesus's absence? I mean, there is also the Mormon theory that he went away to America and started spreading the Mormon gospel for those 3 days. Anyway, next question. What is the next question, Alex?
Tension is so high.
How much chocolate have you eaten this weekend? Each of the panels. So should we go clockwise from the top? Take it away. Kevin.
Oh, it's on me. Yes. Okay. Yes. So I've had no chocolate this weekend. Not for any reason. I've just I don't like chocolate.
What?
I'm more like, I don't like chocolate. Yeah, I prefer like savory foods, like crisps. I'll eat like a fuckload of crisps. But yeah, not
so
chocolate.
Kevin hates Easter and Jesus. Thank you very much.
I'm ambivalent about Jesus. He seems like an okay kind of guy. Chocolate, I can take or leave.
Not sure that's forgivable. Maxine.
I've had quite a few. I've had quite a few, Kitty. I've had about 3, and I've also had some Ferrero Rocher because I'm dead up market. I'm dead up market, as you can tell.
Any celebration or just
being alive? Unlike Jesus.
That is an excellent reason to celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
Alan, chocolate.
Well, like Kevin, I don't have a huge sweet tooth, so I've had a cream egg and a Kit Kat this weekend. But in celebration of Easter being more a secular holiday these days, what I mainly did diet-wise was go out on Good Friday and eat all the meat I could find. Just anything that was meat, I would eat it in front of my Catholic family in-laws' stupid faces. I'm like, yeah, I'm having a pulled pork and bacon sandwich. There's nothing you can do about it. I ate their dog.
Eating a dog in spite. Vix, chocolate.
Well, that's a hard statement to follow, isn't it?
This is evidence if it turns out that, someone Shih Tzu is really missing,
Yeah. I'm murdering a dog. Vix, have you had any chocolate this weekend? Yeah.
Quite a harsh turn there. We had a care package from my mother-in-law full of loads of little Easter bits and pieces. So I put them in the fruit bowl to be perverse. So they're in there nestling with the fruit that I'm ignoring. And yeah, every time I go past.
Was any of it like a chocolate orange? So it kind of belongs
I've got
there.
a Kinder Egg though, and there's a pink one and a blue one actually. And the joke's on them because I'm having both. Both. That's the only gender reveal I'm
Surprise!
Which toy is going to be the best? Is it in the Barbie one or the Marvel one? And I'll feed back. But yeah, not as much as I'd like.
Awesome. Well, I'm sat here staring at my nearly depleted bag of mini eggs and thinking I wish I'd finished this before we were on. So now, because we're talking about chocolate, I am going to, when I've read the next question, not with a mouthful of chocolate. Who's that behind you, Vix? Get them to wave, says Alex. Please do comment in and text Alex's Nokia 10 as well. 3310. There are more numbers.
There we go.
There's a wave. Who is this stranger in your background?
That's my husband. Quietly ignoring my nonsense as usual. It's like, what is it today? It's like, I tell you, but you don't care.
Next question then. In capital letters. We wait with bated breath. Do we have a next?
Hang on, I've lost it. 2 seconds.
A brief appearance from Alex. That's surely worth a donation.
Yeah, £2. Anyone's money.
That question from Vix would have been brilliant if she'd been unable to see anyone in the background. But no, I'm alone in the house.
No one here. What are you talking about?
Kat says, if you could go forward into the future 10 years and see a random 10 minutes of your life, would you?
Oh, that could fuck you up.
Statistically
you
speaking,
could change it, couldn't you? Potentially. It's like, don't go for
random 10 minutes.
You.
You're probably like texting or asleep and just be like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah,
you'd need to do like 2 o'clock or something, so you're getting a good feel of what your day is like,
Like a random 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you would get really G'd up and excited to see the future, and then you'd be like, yep, that's me on Facebook.
Yeah. We might log it, especially when I want to toilet. Yeah.
If you're still
It's an odd
procrastinating,
question to ask in the last. Yeah, it's an odd question to ask in the last couple of years as well, because before the lockdown happened, you'd be like, oh, actually, that might be quite interesting. But now that we know there's a never-ending lockdown that might simply carry on forever, you'd be like, yeah, I'm going to flash forward 10 years. I'm doing exactly the same thing, putting weight on a wank.
In 10 years' time, we're about due the next pandemic, in fairness. Like, about once a decade, we'll get hit with another global wave. So that could be a really bleak look into the future. Like, oh, cool, what's that one called? Oh, cool, COVID-29.
Or it's just blank because you've died.
Look forward 10 years and you're not there.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm getting nothing.
Paul Greg seems to think it could be a random 10 minutes of blowing his nose, which I'm kind of, who blows their nose for 10 minutes? That's quite long. Not 10 seconds, 10 minutes.
Well, we've got a lot of questions for you.
I feel like that needs some expanding on.
Right, you should see a doctor, Paul. I think is the main thing there.
If there's anything of your own you'd be blowing for 10 minutes, it's not your nose, is it?
But no, I don't feel like I've got the energy of somebody who's going to die of natural causes. So you just never know. 10 years is a long time.
I think we might need to check in and make sure you're okay after the show.
Just honestly, if a friend heard that I died in like a freak combine harvester incident, they just go, yeah. She died how she lived. No sense at all.
I've always wanted my headstone to read that. It's like, he died the way he lived, messily.
Beautiful. See, if it's 10 minutes in the future and it is actually a really positive moment, but it's with someone who you don't know yet, then you'll spend the next 10 years waiting to bump into that person and then be like, it's you from the future. We were so happy. And maybe you just had like that one good day and the rest was awful. And you would spend so long waiting. This is like a fan fiction out there. I'm sure someone could write of.
I've seen that film. I'm sure I've seen it.
Alex then asks, what would the rest of the panel want on their headstone? I think mine would probably say, here lies Kitty, she's finally quiet.
Don't think I'd have one. I think I want to be ground down into dust and put in a firework or something a bit cooler. Just don't like the idea of people
inconvenience your neighbours one last time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think I'd prefer to be cremated anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
You can have yourself made into a tree. You can have yourself ground down into a glass butt plug. You can have yourself made into all sorts of things.
Oh, that's what I do, actually, Kitty.
Yeah, that's that one,
that's the suggestion.
Suddenly everyone's like, oh, yeah, the butt plug.
Didn't know that was a possibility, but now it's there. Wow. It's definitely going to happen. That's going to be so hard for a family to be reading through the will, and that's what he wants to be put into a butt plug.
Ian's saying he's behind you, and this is a recent comment, so I don't know if this is still about your husband or if this is now.
It would be weirder if he was gone. His
headstone.
This is the headstone.
No, I think it's Ian's headstone, isn't it? He's behind you.
He's behind you.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be quite fun.
I want an arrow pointing straight upwards to God and the words, I'm with stupid.
I quite like the idea of people coming to the funeral and just being like, she's definitely gone. I mean, have you it's lead lined, right? You made sure it's sealed all the way around, and as if get this creation of this kind of mythical ashes sprinkled over the field where the combine harvester incident occurred.
Yeah, I think that would be a suitable send-off for me. But no, I think I'd want it to be as inconvenient as possible for those left behind. I know a lot of people are like, oh, don't dress in black at my funeral. I just want it to be happy. I want people throwing themselves into my grave, deranged with grief. Like,
I want everyone dressed in their most dramatic and slutty goth outfits. I want dramatic corsets and fishnets and wailing and weeping with a big lace black veil and just aesthetic, just oh yes, that's
like the November Rain video.
A big hat as a statement piece. Keep the questions coming in. Thanks for not switching off to watch Line of Duty, says Alex. I've still not watched any Line of Duty ever. Everyone seems to be talking about it, and I know very little about it other than everyone else is watching it.
You can catch up really quickly. There are only 6 episodes in a season. So.
Oh, really? That's easy enough.
Yeah. What else are we doing? This. I mean, no shade to this, but this.
I mean, this has the live interaction element, which, whilst I don't know much about Line of Duty, I don't think you get to have your comments appear live on the screen and read out by
It's called Twitter.
characters.
You're getting in there with your joke. Everyone's got the same one. You've got to be first.
Nice. Question. What would be a better joke to put on Facebook when you've had your jab? 5G and Bill Gates is hack as fuck. Okay. So what?
Yeah, I've got one. The nurse who gave me the vaccine stuck it in my leg. My thighs are killing me. Pfizer. Not an Easter pun.
Is a rim shot good or bad? I
That's
see it.
good. That's a punchline. That's but
There must be a couple of those we can do.
It's confusing me.
There must be a couple of those we can do. My Siamese brother and I went to the nurse and she stuck it in our Johnson & Johnson.
Rim shot. Denied.
Alex says no.
Fuck you, Alex.
See, I had the AstraZeneca jab, which is also the Oxford jab. And so my thing I've been coming out with is, instead of just wondering whether it's kind of last March or this March, and it's been a year, I'm now really concerned whether it's like Hillary, Michaelmas or Trinity turn, because I've had the Oxford jab.
Yeah, and it just makes you better than everyone else. That's the thing. That's how it works, right?
Like, oh yeah, well, it's very gown and town, and start talking like you went to Oxford. That's my Oxford impression.
And you have to say to them, don't worry, if you didn't get the punchline to that, I'll bail you all out.
Balliol College, Oxford.
Yes. That's I thought you weren't going to get that, and for a moment I was going to go all maudlin.
Puntastic.
I didn't mind getting the vaccine. I'm used to feeling a little prick.
Hey.
No, I'm not.
Yellow card. You have been warned.
Oh, warning, being naughty. Fair enough.
Alex
Sorry, Alex.
The Claxons tonight. Any more COVID statuses?
No, I can't beat them. I don't want to table an inferior joke, so I'm just going to pass.
I've mostly just been going down the Hamilton route of, make sure you're not throwing away your shot. Eric Lear says, a word from Tony Slattery. Just to put us all in danger, Muhammad and Jesus are both made of curly whirlies. Post it, apparently. Please, I don't want anyone coming after me. I already tell enough things about Tories that someone's going to come after me. What's the most awkward question that a partner/date has asked you? Ooh. Well, now we're into the awkward questions. I will go anti-clockwise from the bottom this time. So, Alan.
Was that it?
So anti-clockwise, we're moving up.
Oh, sorry. How old are you? And then, no, how old are you really? You can tell me. Awkward, I know.
Moving around?
So, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I've asked more awkward questions by accident. Then going. I can't think of any. But I've been in a relationship for the last 10 years. So I can't, it's been that far back, I can't actually remember. I think I've, blocked them all to protect myself.
So no immediate awkward questions from a partner or date?
No. I'll say, yeah, that's my final answer.
Cop out. Moving around.
I was asked by a date, do you want any cocaine? Straight off the bat. We just sat down. And then the follow-up question, it was, why not? Are you a square? I was like,
Square.
Square.
Oh, square.
Yeah.
I thought it was a new squidge word, and I was thinking they were trying to use queer as an insult and also use square, but
That was a terrible date, all in all, to be honest. He told me to bring a friend, which should have raised an alarm bell, because he had a friend, and I'd met him at a wedding, and I'd met his two mates at the wedding. One of them was hot, one of them was not. You can guess the friend he brought. Didn't hear the end of that.
It seems Ian was once asked by a date, "What's my name?" And from the fact that that was an especially awkward question, I'm guessing that he'd forgotten.
Oh, Ian.
Trying to think if I have any especially awkward. Erica from Mr. S, I'm guessing that's Tony Slashery. A rim shot is a rather good 70s gay porn film. Post it. I love the kind of aggression behind each post it. Do it.
Has she got a gun to her head?
Yeah. It hasn't got a passive aggressive full stop though. It's still got an air of warmth about it. Post it. It's a bit threatening.
Well, to be fair, Tony is currently writing his autobiography, so maybe this is just all things he's written down on post-its to go in the book.
Ah, maybe. Very literal interpretation.
See, I think the most awkward questions are just the really simple ones that they should know the answer to, or the ones that aren't that bad, except if it's really, really early on. Like if someone's like, "Hey, where do you live?" and you've like just started talking, it's like, It's a little bit. I literally had that like last week, and it wasn't even a date. It was just trying to talk about sensible comedy things, and it was just. Stuart, my partner will randomly ask me, "Why is your armpit so hairy with eyes like she's staring at a unicorn?"
Oh.
Are they particularly hairy, Stuart, or just a normal amount of hair? Like,
is this some kind of envy and awe? Is this?
Are we just sharing tonight? What's going on?
Well, I think this is an awkward question from a partner or date.
Because biology.
Next question. Have you ever stolen anything from where you work? Doesn't have to be a current workplace, especially if you want to say that it's not your current workplace for legal reasons. I got your back.
I used to take I used to take my bus fare from the till of the job, just because I was like, oh, it'll cover expenses at minimum.
Well,
it's really boring, but it works. Yeah, pragmatic stealing.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's not a crime, but it's pragmatic, yeah.
I reckon so. It's just thoughtful. I technically have stolen a laptop from work, so I never sent it back when I finished the job. And they never asked for it, and it's been 6 months now. So I feel like it's mine, but I'm scared to open it in case like a siren goes off.
So it's not even being used.
Well, no, I'm scared of it. It's not mine. But I was too lazy to post it, and 6 months later now it feels like it belongs to me. So I just don't know what I'm going to do about that. I also have a screen from them as well, because that again was just I couldn't be asked to post it back. So, and they can't take it off me because I use it for comedy. I claimed that I needed it. I had it delivered to my house. I was like, oh, I want to look at spreadsheets on it, but actually it was so I could double screen on Twitch. Very helpful of them, really.
Cat says, I used to steal toilet paper and fruit from a dessert cafe I worked at because I only got paid £5 an hour. I'm guessing that you were a young person at that point. Otherwise, that is under the minimum wage. Stuart wants to know if Tony wrote an awkward question to end the movie. That would be brilliant. Please cast me in the role of Alex. That's my audition. Any more work theft?
Well,
sorry.
No, you go first.
Thank you. I have in the past downloaded an ebook I really wanted to read, but I hate ebooks, so I just printed it out on the Works printer and read it on there.
Oh, printing doesn't count. That's a gift from your company. Like the free fruit. One for me, one for my bag. Like, they want me to be healthy. It's beautiful.
I think I do the reverse. I leave things in workplaces. Like, there is a mug that my now ex-girlfriend bought me that is in a school somewhere from where I was working as a student teacher before I dropped out of my teacher training. And it's like, they asked me at the end when I was kind of not coming back, they were like, oh, do you want all of your things? And I was like, I think the only stuff I have there is a mug. It's fine. But I think there are probably about 12 different workplaces that have a mug or a pencil case, etc., that have just left behind different places.
They Sports Direct buckets, or every workplace has to have one. No one admits to bringing it in, but they're always there.
This particular one was a cat Hermione, and it said per Hermione Granger. Cosmic Cat had come up with a strapline there for the Awkward Question Time movie, which was lights, camera, awkward. Get that on your
that's just why she's come up with one, because I was falling back on the old traditional, when there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth. No,
was that one of those
from Dawn of the Living Dead? No, never mind.
I was like, is that from a future question that we haven't been asked yet?
I'm just here like, this is a pop culture reference that I'm not quite getting. I'm sorry, Alan. I'll try and
camera, awkward.
Fine. It's non-linear.
It wasn't a strapline; it was a directive.
Any more workplace things, or are we moving on to the next question?
Yeah, so I work in the NHS. I work in nursing. I shouldn't admit to this, but it's not that I purposely do it, but I accidentally end up taking stuff home. So I have probably over the years taken maybe 100 pairs of rubber gloves, syringes. Not that I'm an addict, they're just, you put them in your pocket and you take them home, and several pairs of scrubs, the scrub top, the scrub trousers, and sometimes I wear them as pajamas because they're so comfortable.
Wow.
Not one of Boris Johnson's mates,
syringes.
I'd be wearing them everywhere, but like applause. I'd be like in Tesco.
I can kind of see you walking out with about 40 different face masks on in one go, and then getting on the email to Matt Hancock and selling them all back to the government.
Good idea.
Brilliant. That's just for real estate. Katie's come in saying they understood the reference, and so sorry, Alan. Other people appreciate you.
Not going to sleep with you, Katie. No one's impressed.
Not a second time. Bloody hell.
Right, question. Who would you cast in the Awkward Question Time movie to play all of tonight's panel, including the guest host, apparently? Anyone weighing in? And how rude are you going to be with it?
I reckon someone cool for you, Kitty, like Aquafina. I think she could do a good job for you. But bit quirky, bring a bit of edge to it. Does a lot of voices. I can see that. I can see that.
See, I'm frequently told, I mean, the list is basically fat Rihanna when she had her red hair. Like, she wasn't fat, but that's how you get to me. And who else is on the list? Basically, it's largely taking people who are famous and small enough to be that, and then just going, if you stretch them out and look from an angle, yeah, skin tone, red hair, that'll do.
Yeah.
Well, there are 5 of us, and nobody knows who any of us are. So I think probably it would be a stunt cast for some proper celebrities. So I reckon we'd all be played by Little Mix.
Huh. There's only 3 of them now, though. How would we?
It could be the Spice Girls. There are
it's
5
Easter.
of us.
Dig the other 2 up.
Yeah.
There were only ever 4.
Mix.
Who's got the cultural references now? Ask me about that.
If we do go for the Spice Girls, I was usually cast as scary amongst my friends, but I can see that Vix is there with a leopard print, so there might be a fight. Erica says, from Tony, Alan's gone all worried, tuft. He still looks melancholy and handsome at the same time.
Post it.
Well, it's post-I.
Post-I.
So Tony Slattery thinks you're handsome, is what I've taken from that.
It means Tony Slattery wants to play Alan. There, we got him.
All right, there we go. Cast done.
Elliot Steele, Kevin. There we go.
Yeah, Elliot's getting to have some work. Good for him. I don't know who's funding the film. I hope they make their money back.
Katie says a second date with Alan. This was a good Easter. Elbow cough. Successful Easter. Second date with Alan.
We're all just contemplating that individually.
Is an elbow cough that thing where you put one hand under your armpit and make a quacking noise? Or is that something else?
I think that's something else. I think it's just like coughing aside. Kathleen Grace says,
Joshua.
Alan can be played by Nick Frost. Not sure I see the resemblance, but he's a funny guy.
How much does Joshua think I weigh? 14-year-old prick.
I appreciate
we're all in boxes.
It's not on the screen yet, but Ian Bowden's comment, Bowden? I'm not actually sure, saying I'd go for Hearsay because you're all pure and simple. And that was my first ever live gig. I was about 6 years old. I went to see Hearsay and then they immediately disbanded.
Would you be
when
my
someone
lead?
says, what's your first gig? That's my go-to. I saw Hearsay. They had one song and a bunch of covers and then they split up.
Was it the original lineup or is it with the inclusion of Johnny Chantal?
I couldn't
Why
tell
do I
you.
know this? What have I not learned since I've retained this information? Why do I know this?
Absorbed so much crap pop culture references. It's amazing.
Because he was married to someone who was in another band. No. Let's move on.
Stuart says, knowing Hollywood, they'd have Kitty played by Scarlett Johansson. She's been every ethnicity so far. Why not? I'd have cast Oliver Reed as Alan myself, says Paul Griggs.
Depends on the era how rude that is, doesn't it?
Isn't that a footballer? I'm so bad with pop culture references. Callum Ellis Jarvis Jones says, I would say Alan with that slicked back hair is more John Travolta post Pulp Fiction, but pre-Battlefield Earth. I don't know how you feel about that. I can only picture the Greece era. That is him in Greece, isn't it?
Yeah, I knew this was going to be awkward, but I didn't know the audience was going to be divided entirely between men who would have been happy to fuck me and men who think I'm some sort of bloated alcoholic land hero.
And your wife is also there.
The elbow cough was meant to be an emoticon of someone dabbing. There we go. There we go.
I thought it might be, but I didn't want to venture it because I'm quite old. So I didn't want to get it wrong. I was like, I think I know he's
just they have dabbing the back of Hearsay or anything.
So the immediate way to stop everyone dabbing is just replace it with elbow cough.
Yeah, yeah, that's taken all the joy out of it, hasn't it?
Any more? Moving on.
I reckon Ezra Miller could take a good shot at Kevin. Cheekbones.
I've Ezra Miller before. Yeah, I'd like Timothée Chalamet to do it if we could get him. We have the budget for Timothy.
I don't think you do.
No,
I don't know if you've seen the show. Big box office. Drops on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, it's going to be straight to DVD for.
Yeah.
Let's all say something nice to Alan after the joy of the last question, says Alex.
It's too late now.
So sad. He's very brooding. Grr.
Brooding. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's got some kind of
Mark Ruffalo, broody Hulk, part Hulk.
Mark Ruffalo, thank you. I'll take Mark Ruffalo. He's brilliant. So nice.
Erica says Alan can be played by any handsome man. There you go. Making up for the fact that she forgot your anniversary.
Maybe that also means she just doesn't know what I look like.
Oh yes, I'm being reminded I've been to the pub where Oliver Reed died. That was in Malta, wasn't it? I'd entirely forgot it. Thank you very much. So that's an actor, isn't it then? Wonderful. References.
Has it got a blue disc outside for that? Or
I think that's the place where you can buy a t-shirt that has the drinks order on it that's like obscene for everyone who was at that party and what they ordered and all of the rounds, and you get the drinks on it, and it's just really grim that they sell that because like someone died. That's anyway.
Well, I thought you were going to say a t-shirt that was like Oliver Reed's Turin shroud, like they'd rested it over his face when he snuffed it, and he just left an imprint of his face in his own vomit.
Right.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Maybe came back 3 days later.
That's where Jesus was for that 3 days.
That would be a plot twist. Final question.
Deep cover.
Have you ever done the walk of shame, also known as the stride of pride? Come on.
Yeah, come on. We don't shame around here.
There is no need to be ashamed.
We're empowered.
Walking home the next day in last night's outfit, makeup, and high heels when it's clearly about 9-10 a.m. or whatever, and everyone else is going to work, and you are stumbling home in last night's clubbing gear. Have you ever done the stride of pride?
We're starting stuff all the time. No one knows. No one knows. There we go. Life hack. I always dress like I'm going out.
It's one of those things where, like, if you're too prepared to stay at someone's house, then it feels like you're being presumptuous. If you show up with, like, a toothbrush and a change of clothes, then it's like, oh, someone's staying the night then. But, like, if you don't show up with those things, then you have to awkwardly be like, well, I'm here in last night's clothes and heels, and I've got morning breath. Like, you've got to find the balance.
Use the strangest toothbrush.
No. You use someone else's toothbrush. That feels like that should be the question. Have you ever used someone else's used toothbrush?
Well, I feel like if you've stayed over and it's gone well, that isn't the bit that you should be not having in your mouth at that point. Like,
It's splashing our mouth.
Oh yeah,
I feel like there's a difference between like sharing a glass and being like, oh, it's like we've kissed if you've kissed, and like the scrubbings of their previous food between their teeth. That's a little more intimate. Like,
you don't leave it on the brush though. You wash the brush. Like, you're not going to have chunks of food on the toothbrush. That's ridiculous.
It still feels a bit invasive. Cosmic Cat says, yeah, this is 2021. It's just a walk. Yeah, because you can't go to anyone's house. To be honest, if you are stumbling home in the gear from last night and looking like you've been out, where have you been? Where have you been? I wish I'd had a walk of shame stride of pride recently.
Our boundaries have all had to change in lockdown. All I'm saying. I got bought a shiwi because I've got loads of boy mates, and it's drinking stopped when you could only drink outside when I needed a wee. So I was presented with it ceremonially, like, you're one of us now. It's like, so
come out to the pub garden, you can't go and lose.
All our standards have dropped. That's all I'm saying. We do what we can to survive.
It's very odd kind of coming onto these live streams and things where like I suddenly have to like wear a bra and put makeup on because it's like, people will see me, when it's like, pretend I am not the goblin witch who lives under the duvet. Yes.
I like the sound of them.
I'd watch always handy if they have mouthwash. Yeah, you don't tend to get enough kind of like travel mouthwash as well. I feel if you go to a really fancy hotel, sometimes they'll have like, you know, as well as the little shampoos and stuff to take away, little mouthwash, and then you hoard them, and they are very useful tools. Pro tip. Any more walk of shame stories or stride of pride stories?
I don't get the chance anymore. It's been a really, really long lockdown.
Pre-lockdown also counts. In fact,
even then,
this. Has anyone not done the stride of pride walk of shame? Right, we're all human beings who have healthy lives.
I think the closest I've got was when I met Erica's parents, because I'd stayed the night in the flat where Erica lived at the time. Mm-hmm. And none of us knew that her parents were actually going to visit that day. So she went out to work, and I was just sat there in her dressing gown in the front room, drinking from a bottle of famous grouse that we cracked open the night before. And her parents walked in and went, oh, hello. And of course, the only thing you can do is try and style it out. So, oh, hello, you must be Mr. and Mrs. Edgerton. How nice to meet you. Isn't your daughter a charming young woman? I love what you've done with the place.
At least you had her dressing gown on, though. That's something.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing was that the boy before me was such a cunt that I still seemed like an upgrade. So...
winning. Cosmic Cat says Goblin Witch who lives under the duvet would be a film she'd watch.
Same.
Mark Tetley, 2021 walk of shame. Seeing yourself in the mirror on the way to the fridge at 3 a.m.
Well, you've just eating slice of ham directly from the drawer. Yeah. Yeah, that's the true shame.
I live in
Mainlining
Nottingham.
shredded cheese like you're trying to get the last few crisps out of the packet. Yeah.
I live in Nottingham, and the University Park campus is like a little way away from the town. And there's a student area called Lenton, which is like between the city and where all the first years live. And it used to be that you could see people wandering from Lenton onto campus in this like little like 20-minute walk stretch of everyone who was a first year who'd slept with like a second or third year. And you could just see all of the first years kind of en masse the next morning, stumbling onto campus in all their previous night's glory.
Oh, like the thing where sparrows all migrate at the same time.
Sorry?
That thing where starlings all migrate at the same time. They do this.
Yes, they make like a V-shape.
Yes, yeah.
We're not laughing,
Ladies
we're
said
learning.
they haven't done the walk of shame or stride of pride, but only because they couldn't walk afterwards. Hey. So I was doing it right.
For you.
That was our first date. Yeah.
That sounds like such a
Stuart Dunlop. Every walk with me is an amble of rambles. Nice rhyming. I'm curious as to the context that makes everything an amble of rambles rather than
Like,
walk of
he's been
shame stride of pride.
Conversationally,
is what he's been doing.
Or just a waffler. Like, you'll just hear his nonsense. Like,
So you've got company on your walk. They're walking you home. Oh, that's lovely.
Aw.
Rather than the like, cheers, but my housemates are here and
Yeah.
you've been a bit loud, so sneak out. I'll buy them a beer. My
I
ex
forgot
used to
I'd
do
taken
that.
someone home once. I brought them home to show them my new house. And I went upstairs to get something and then forgot that they were there, put my pajamas on and just got into bed. And my housemate came and woke me up about half hour later and she was like, there's a guy downstairs. Is he
That's
you?
beautiful.
And I had to go and get him. And I was like, look, it's not on. You can either get in the bed and have a nice sleep or go. They're your options. I'll make you a cup of tea. So, yeah, he just got into bed because he lived quite far out of town. Got into bed. We watched a TV show in the morning. We watched This Morning together, and then I waved him off. It was lovely. Felt like I'd made a friend.
There is a thing.
You just hung out
where
with a
it's-
guy for 12 hours.
It's usually the people who
We
live
didn't even
in like
snuggle. It was just like Bert and Ernie.
if they've got like a
Clearly
single
weirder
bread
than
with a
not
spring
having
sticking out.
sex.
If they've
All
got like
this
the
makes it, like,
dingiest
way-
accommodation, then that's where the best sex is, you know? If they've got like a little studio flat with like a stain on a duvet over there and it's all grim and that is where you're going to have your best time, but don't stay the night. Like anyone who's living in the lap of luxury, they know they've got it sorted. They don't need to make any effort. They're all just like, yeah, sure, you can come in here and this is my palace, rather than the like, this is where the fun happens. Any more?
No, I'm loving Vic's idea of a platonic one-night stand. I think that's
I know.
glorious.
I think he did do a walk of shame. He didn't convert. It was all there for him. Open goal, literally. Failed to convert.
No, I think after lockdown, we've all been so deprived of human comfort that platonic one-night stands are going to become quite a big thing. I'm gonna hang around in car parks looking for a platonic quickie.
Just wanted
Everyone
to.
needs a spoon and a cuddle.
friend. Yeah.
But also the other stuff. Let's be real, it's a long lockdown. It's like, yes, excellent. We've got past the touch staff moment. Now the other stuff. We're running out of time. Any more commentary here? Oh, that's it. Before we go, anything to plug? I'm going to go from the bottom left corner this time. So I'm going to go with Vix. Anything to plug?
Yes, I've got a panel show podcast called Comedy Arcade. I've got Russell Kane and Katie Brands on the episode on Thursday, which is really exciting. That is available with good and bad podcasts found because I'm not discerning. So that's my big news.
Cool. Alan?
No.
No, nothing to plug. Wonderful.
He wants to tell you about my podcast again.
Yeah. Oh God.
Maxine?
I find it the perfect soundtrack for a platonic quickie.
Well, I was just gonna say I haven't got anything to plug, but after lockdown, if anyone wants to have a one-night stand with me and let me do the walk of shame, that'd be nice. Just slide into my DMs.
So plugging Maxine.
Just plug me, yeah.
Yes, plugging perhaps. We haven't had a pegging reference all episode.
Well, no, we did talk about converting our dead bodies into butt plugs earlier, though. So you know,
that's not a strap on. Anyway, Kevin, anything to
could be.
Not strap on specific. Follow me on Instagram though. That lovely Kev.
Oh.
So is that Instagram?
Yeah, just
Yes?
Instagram. Everything. I'm crap
Cool.
at everything else. So Instagram is my medium.
Cool. I live on Facebook mostly. Find me on Facebook, Kitty Messalina. I also, thank you, Alex. That's cool. I host a new material and new acts comedy night. Our next gig is on Tuesday. There is a poster for it right there. Late stage comedy. Look us up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the socials. And come along on Tuesday. Pre-book your free tickets on Eventbrite and Joke Pit.
Tado is amazing as well. That's a brilliant headliner. He's so good.
I'm really excited for this Tuesday. So that's 8 till 10 tonight, UK time. Come in at 2:45 because we kick off at 8. That is everything. Stay awkward.
Big love to Alex.